A Mexican magician says he will disappear on the count of 3. He starts uno, dos. Poof, I didn't see that one coming. And if he pops up somewhere else, it's like a game of guacamole. It's as if he had never been there. Ha ha ha. I thought learning English for 12 years would at least mean I would understand dad jokes. Can someone explain? It's the first one I don't get. He disappeared but his poof lingered. In a town square, under the sun's bright face, a Mexican magician with style and grace. Uno, dos. And then a silent space, but he disappeared without a trace. He can't. Only about the 50 gazillionth time this joke has been posted on this sub. I eagerly await tomorrow's repost. He may have drove off in his Audi Quattro, or he's in the kitchen and under the Cinco. I estimate that 95 of Reddit users pick their nose and eat it, 50 don't wash their hands after the bathroom, 12.5 fantasize about sleeping with their sister, 1 eat Vaseline on toast, and 100 haven't showered in the last 5 days. I don't have a sister. Can I borrow one for a minute and a half? Me, I can't stop thinking about sister. Me too. I have 4 sisters, so you know what I do with half of my life. How am I supposed to find time to shower? And the average human has less than 2 arms. I didn't pick my nose, I was born with it. How am I supposed to eat Vaseline on toast with my unwashed fingers covered in crusty boogers, if I'm too busy pile driving my unshowered whiner into my sister? Totally laughed at this 144 times. I'm in the bath right now. 138 to go. I'm an electrician. How much do you charge? What's up with that? That's revolting. I'm an electrician too. I'm qualified to remove your shorts. That joke was not terribly bright. Just keep plugging away. My breaker just tripped. I guess walking isn't really its thing. I posted the same joke almost yesterday. This is a current trend and you are amping it up. I guess you're getting a lot of resistance to your estimates? Someone leaked the truth. You are a plumber. That's enough joking around, son. You're grounded. I'm a carpenter and have a lisp. Everyone keeps asking me if I can replace their carpet, but I don't know why. You kept us in dark all this time. They call you Sparky and let you hold the flashlight sometimes at work. Dim joke. I need you for now. Is finding out that your spouse sucked hundreds of dicks before they were married a big deal? In a row? I would say she's just giving you a mouthful, but seems like you did that already. It would explain why my wife is too tired to do it now. If the street was paved with cocks, you'd be walking on your ass. Not for hundreds. But sucking 37 dicks might have a problem. Hundreds might be a bit much. It's better worded. Spouse sucked hundreds of dicks before you got married. $20 is $20 times hundreds, so she did not swallow it. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Can't put a price on experience. Kept getting tricked with it for $1 million. Would you scam? No. One day an old Ukrainian man found an antique lamp. Kazakhstan to Ukraine, bro? WTF? What did I ever do to you? Explain? Brilliant. Not heard that one. An up dude. Wasn't the original version with a Polish dude? Fearless leader, no like that. Nah, good Nick Genghis. He starts it to polish it off. Must have been a really nice lamp. Here's my. People always assume skeletons are male. People also assume every commenter on Reddit is male. Student here was a penis. Professor not was but happened. This is a female skeleton. IDK. How to translate this joke properly. I hope English speakers will find some similar words to make the joke equal to the take on here once was a penis. Professor probably not once. It is a female skeleton. Look at the pelvis. In the center there are 2 sections of bone that come together in an angle. If the angle is greater than 90 degrees, the skeleton is female. If it's less than 90 degrees, it's male. The word boner comes to mind. I always evaluate their pelvic angle first, probably because most medical skeletons didn't care about women until fairly recently. Gender is of no matter in the skeleton wars. All the skeletons in my closet are female. Sex dolls must have posed the greatest threat to humans in Toy Story due to their size. Huh. What version of Toy Story did you see? Lol. Or those massive Lego sculptures of like Transformers and stuff. The scariest part would be some of them being able to pass as human if they hide their 1-1 Gundam is probably more dangerous. You've got a friend in me. I do not like this shower thought. Lol. I shudder to think of the stories they told the other toys. Now this is a quality shower thought. Everyone has a plan until a horde of drippy fleshlight worms slither over the hill. Hey nerds, if all the toys in your house were to come to life, which would be the most dangerous? I dunno. Woody Woodpecker M. The one you wish would come alive. That and their dick-crushing grip. They love us too much to hurt us. Break our hearts by running away though, that is why you always chain them up. This deserves front page. Dude, they are traumatized, let them be. Till great white sharks have poison resistance that defies logic. Samples of shark blood showed levels of arsenic and mercury that should be harmful if not deadly, but the sharks were unaffected. Additionally, great whites have impressive self-healing abilities. Related to this is the mystery of killer whales attacking and killing great white sharks, and then only eating the liver, where I would assume that a lot of these toxins end up. What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine and eating machine. It's really a miracle of evolution. All this machine does is swim and eat and make little sharks, and that's all. South Korea has been in the process of changing capital city from Seoul to newly built Sejong since 2007. The construction of the city is expected to be completed in 2030. Other countries have moved their capital. Brazil, Nigeria, United States. Had no idea South Korea was doing it. FYI. The location of new capital has nothing to do with proximity to NK. The reason is to move regional development away from Seoul and nearby regions that are already heavily developed. Makes sense. Capital cities are constantly growing in nations with healthy economies. Just the construction of it has probably spurred enormous economic growth in the region already. How can you complete construction on a city? Seems like it's never ending. Brazilians seeing this PFFF. More than 5 years to build a capital? Losers. This city will be completed before Star Citizen. Since 2000. The Clay Mathematics Institute is offering a prize of $1 million to the person that can prove the Riemann hypothesis. No one has been able to prove it since it was formulated by Bernhard Riemann in 1860. I looked at the article for about 2 seconds before realizing I'm going to understand none of it and therefore can have no perspective on the hypothesis. I'm dumb. Fun fact. There are a number of math questions that the Clay Institute will award $1 million. The only one that has been solved was by a Russian who refused the prize. Then some janitor stumbles across it one night and is all like, "How do you like these apples?" as he drags his nuts across the whiteboard. Reads the Wikipedia. Oh, I see. Yeah, I didn't understand a word of this. $1 million is dogshit money for that proof. The value to society if proven true false would be worth so much more. Till that before the raid of Osama bin Laden in 2011. 2-1-1 scaled versions of his Pakistani compound were built in the US, for SEALs to practice their raid on. The elevation of these test compounds was also built to be at the same level, to test the effect it would have on the raid helicopters. And they still managed to crash the chopper, just like the simulations. Stealth helicopters. I didn't know we had fucking stealth helicopters that can fly into a compound at night and not be detected. I remember that was the most surprising thing when details of the raid were released. Just like the first Modern Warfare mission. It's actually petty cool. I spent a lot of time on that CS source map myself. If they aren't using them anymore, there's a real paintball opportunity here. Till that in 2015 a 46-year-old woman accidentally took 55 mg intranasally of pure LSD, equal to 550x the normal recreational dosage. She blacked out for the first 12 hours and felt pleasantly high for the second 12. A day later her chronic foot pain ceased, helping her to end her morphine habit. It defragged her hard drive. That's a hell of a trip. Doc Ellis approves. I heard the US Army was dosing people with quantities like this when they first tested it. I couldn't imagine tripping that hard. And I accidentally took 50 doses of 2CB. I'd bet money that blackout she was completely out of her mind and prefers not to think about opposed to not actually remembering. LSD. Maybe just once. I would say you're crazy, but I lost social anxiety after overdoing on shrooms. Is this the macrodosing I've been hearing about? Still, that mathematician John von Neumann had an unusual ability to solve new problems. When presented with a problem in programming on which there had been no published literature, he said, "Oh, that," then gave a lecture of over an hour explaining how to solve it using a hitherto unconceived theory. I loved the quote. Edward Teller observed von Neumann would carry on a conversation with my 3-year-old son, and the two of them would talk as equals, and I sometimes wondered if he used the same principle when he talked to the rest of us. Years ago when I was undergrad we had a speaker who actually had known von Neumann give a lecture at my university. I remember that a major theme of the presentation was that von Neumann wasn't more well known because he dabbled in a lot of different fields of study and didn't focus on advancing any one area. Till the nuclear Gandhi bug from Civilization actually never existed. That can't be right. They are so aggressive in the game. This is like the Lion King Kimba the White Lion thing. A few years untrue becomes common knowledge simply due to repetition on the internet, and it takes someone going back to the source to realize that it's untrue. It's confirmation bias. People are more inclined to notice when Gandhi starts warring but entirely ignore all the other characters because none of the others are famous for being a pacifist. Eurasia has always been at war with Oceania. I remember seeing images of the dialogue screen with Gandhi saying our words are backed with nuclear weapons, but maybe that was a Photoshop in support of this meme. Today I learned. Another Civ 1 related thing, I remember the Russians in that game always being aggressive and breaking their treaties. Do I remember that right, and was it programmed that way? Sure, Nuclear Gandhi, we believe you. Still the story, John Thompson. A young boy who became famous overnight after having both his arms ripped off in a farming accident in 1992. He survived and had both arms successfully reattached and can still use them. Is this the guy who dialed 911 with a pencil in his mouth? He just couldn't stay away from that damned wheat thresher. But seriously, he laid in the bathtub to avoid getting blood on his mom's new carpet. What a goodbye, thinking of his mom's carpet while his arms were ripped off. Seriously? Ag Week gonna paywall me? How the hell did he avoid bleeding out? I've never had an ambulance take less than like 10 minutes. I had one arm ripped off in an industrial accident and I don't think it even made the local newspaper. Never stand between an American and their right to bear arms. They call him Two-Armed Thompson. Not because he has two arms, but because he has two arms, twice. Using just your fingers, you can count to 1023. Binary gets you the largest number you can represent on fingers, 1023. But thinking in binary isn't easy or quick. A system I use a lot for counting up to 99 is: right hand fingers counts as 1. Right thumb counts as 5. Left hand fingers count as 10. Left thumb counts as 50. I know exactly what you mean, man. Don't let these plebs get you down. You have 10 digits. You can represent every number from 0 to 1023 with 10 digits in binary. You can absolutely count to 1023 on your fingers in binary, if you can comprehend working in base 2. 1024. You need another or 10 kinds of people in this world. You could count in trinary too: finger down, finger half extended, finger extended. What can't you believe is still a thing in 2023? Everyone is posting some pretty serious stuff, such as war crimes, racism, etc. So I'll say something a little more lighthearted. Companies using styrofoam to ship stuff instead of the spongy styrofoam stuff or the cardboard inserts. Every time I open a box that has styrofoam in it, it's usually all broken apart and crumbly and gets everywhere and statically sticks to everything. Measles and polio. Both diseases should have been eradicated years far. We have rid the world of smallpox and rinderpest, a cattle disease caused by a measles-like virus that does not infect people, and guinea worm is almost gone. Thank you, Jimmy Carter, for helping rid the tropics of this disfiguring, painful disease. Apparently Sears still has 11 stores left. How many people believe everything they see online? Tuberculosis. YouTube pranksters. AOL. What company has you shocked that they have not yet gone out of business? All those awful kiosks in malls that sell stuff no one honestly needs. That furniture store that has had the going out of business sale going on for the last 4 years. Guitar Center. I worked for them for 13 years. They were on the brink of death the whole time, still trying to charge what you can get for free on Facebook. On a Wednesday at around 2 p.m. I received a tap at my door from an elderly woman who wanted to show me a Kirby. It appears that door-to-door salespeople will still exist in 2023. 2022 revenue was $7.4 billion. AOL has 10,350 employees, and the revenue per employee ratio is $714,975 per. Mind blown. Yahoo! They've been through a lot and are still staying alive. Pretty sure Sears is still holding on? What do you call a restaurant that only sells beans? I wish I could get my son to such expensive places. Eat here and get gas. Starbucks. He is the chosen one. Ha, well, on his way to being a dad. Been there, done that. Must be so proud. That's a definite yes. That's gold. Damn, that's good. This kid is going places. You raised him right. La 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 la. Your son's clever. Okay, not to be rude, but I don't care what your son's age was or is. He's a genius. I would have never thought of that. Ha ha ha. Take my happy up, dude. Only took about 27 seconds for my mind to register what I had just read. I went baked, but this is way better. Yeah, sure, Rebecca. I always look for a joke for our office weekly newsletter, and this will be today's pick. Great joke. A-OK hand. Beanies. Harry Potter and Order of Beans. Bean that. Mexican. How did you let your 7-year-old become a dad? Blazing Saddles. The Favland. What does the wealthiest person you know do for work? My friend sold RuneScape Gold. He made a fortune. They inherited a huge corporation. They just don't have to F it up, own their own conveyor belt business. Makes almost $2 million a year after it's all said and done. Whatever he wants. He was an NFL quarterback though, so he doesn't have to do jack shit these days. Both in tech. Friend is in a company about to IPO and is VP level, so will do well there. Her husband just sold his gaming company to the biggest gaming company in China for, as she put it, life-changing money. Both very intelligent, super nice, crazy hard working. They worked for it, and it couldn't happen to nicer people. What is the most recognizable song without lyrics? Jaws theme, the Pink Panther theme, Furley's The Super Mario Bros. Level 1-1 theme song, Beethoven's Fifth Imperial Death March. The Entertainer sits down at piano, plays single G note, Flight of the Valkyries, Canon in D, Sandstorm by Darude, Flight of the Bumblebee, 1812 Overture. Not that many songs have cannons going off in the middle. Chariots of Fire, Banjo Duel from Deliverance, Jeopardy Countdown, Claire de Lune, James Bond theme, Yakety Sax, In the Hall of the Mountain King, Ode to Joy. I used to live near a church with bell tower that played it on the hour. I was constantly finding myself singing it, wondering why, and then realizing the bells were playing and I had just started singing along unconsciously. Miserlou, Moonlight Sonata, Mendelssohn's Wedding March, Greensleeves, Green Onions. What movie traumatized you as a kid? Not the whole movie, but the flying monkeys and the Wizard of Oz terrified me as a child. The Wicked Witch was a little much too. Watership Down was shown in the kids program because on Elm Street. Watched when I was 13. Yep, I could not sleep. I don't know if traumatized, but E.T. throwing the ball back was scary as fuck. Poltergeist 1982. The 1973 Exorcist. Oddly, the first Gremlins. I distinctly remember her telling the story about what happened to her family on Christmas Eve, and thought WTF? This was a really fun movie until that story she told. Reading the book didn't help. The Truman Show. Existential crisis lasted years. The Dark Crystal. The Brave Little Toaster. The whole movie was like a fever dream, but the AC scene, that shit stuck with me and might have affected who I am today. The Day After. Arachnophobia. What's the grossest thing you've ever seen someone bring to a potluck? Some kind of lasagna made by someone who had no clue what lasagna is. There were layers of pasta, but the rest was things like chicken, grated cheddar cheese, canned jalapenos, mushroom soup, frozen mixed vegetables, spicy mayo, etc. An office potluck as everyone is eating. One of the girls says, "I'm sorry if you find dead cat hair in the green bean casserole." My cat kept getting up on the counter to nibble at the edges. Cue everyone looking at each other like WTF? I'll fall on that sword. I brought shepherd's pie to a Christmas party and thought it festive to color the mashed potatoes green. Casserole with a side of even kidding. They crawled out of the bag she brought her dish in. I stopped participating in potlucks after that. Grandma's Jello salad, made with cottage cheese and celery. Lime Jello with Vienna weenies and cherry tomatoes in it. What's your horror movie flaw that would get you killed? I'd be the guy that gets high and just tries to relax yet is so unaware of what's happening around me. Oh yeah, Jack took a nap a while ago. It's 3 p.m. Jack never got out of bed, nor is he there. Must have got breakfast. Finds Jack's head in the refrigerator. I'm a skeptic. The person who says, "There must be a rational explanation for this," is usually one of the first people to die. Curiosity. You know that one dude who always walked towards the source of an obvious spooky and shady place? That's me. My lack of endurance when running. I would 100 fall for the cute animal that actually rips throats out. Such a cute rabbit with giant teeth covered in blood, hiding in a bush surrounded by corpses. Let me take you home and look after you. Smiling face with hearts.